So the next function that we'll be talking about is related function. Related function, this return a related value from another table, provided the table has relationship between them. Okay, so note that the different tables should be related when using this function. So let's solve some problem to get to understand how to use the related function. So the problem statement is calculate the price against each order number in the sales table. Calculate the total revenue for each order number. For each product category, calculate A, the total revenue, B, the total quantity, C, the total return quantity. So let's get on to our Power BI and desktop and solve this problem. We get to understand how to use the related function. So we are going to use the related function to filter out the price from the order number in the sales table. Okay, so this is our sales table. So you can see the day number over here. So we are going to filter out the price for each of these day number. So to do that, we head on to new column. So we call it price. The column we call it price is equal to. We use the related function. You can see the function over here. So the related function returns a related value from another table. So you want to return the price from the product table. You want to return it to the sales table. Okay. So we use the related function in this case. So the related function has the argument. It has only one argument, which is the column name. So the column name that we want is from the products table. So from the products table, we are going to check through the price, where we have the price column. So we can see product price over here. So we click on it and we close the bracket and just hit enter. Okay, so we can see over here that we have the price over here. So it is able to bring up the price for each of the day number. Okay, so we can see it over here. Okay. Okay, so now we have solved that problem. Okay, to solve the revenue, we have to go to but first of all, I want to show you something in this price column over here. So if you come to your model view, let's just look at our model view and you'll see how related this column are. Okay, to be able to use the related function, the two tables must be related. Okay, so I want to show you. Okay, so I want to show you the relationship between the sales table. You can see it over here. Let me see how I can make it closer so you can have a view of it. Okay, so we can see in the model view, we can see the sales table and the products table. And if you click on this arrow over here, this line over here, you'll see that the once you click on this arrow here, you'll see how the sales table and the product table are related. So they are related by the product key. Okay, so that is when only you can see now that the sales table and the product table are related with the product key. Okay, so that is why we're able to calculate that problem using related function. So if these two tables are not related, okay, we're going to have an error over there. Okay, so let's go back to our table view. So now in the next question, we are going to be calculating the revenue. So we head on to a new column. So in the next column, we are going to be calculating for revenue. So we call it revenue. Revenue is equal to, we calculate the total revenue for each order number. We are going to time the price column in the sales table times the order quantity. Okay. So we said sales in the sales table, we have price and we say times the order quantity. So in the sales table, we have order quantity over here. So we just hit enter. Okay, so now we can see our revenue over here. Okay, so we're able to solve that problem. Just click here and okay, so we're able to solve that problem. For each product category, calculate the total revenue. Okay, so we're going to calculate the total revenue for each product category. So what we do is we just go and create a new measure So come here, you click on new measure. Okay, and we'll call it total revenue. So total revenue is equal to, now we're going to use the sum function here to solve the total revenue. So we use sum, and it has, you can see sum function has all the numbers in the column. So, and it has only one argument, which is the column name. So the column name we are going to use is a revenue in our sales level. So you can see a column that we call revenue. Just click on it and then close the bracket and hit enter. So we go to the product category and we'll see the category name. So we just drag the category name to where we have the rows. Okay, and then we go to where we have our total revenue. So we just drag it to our value region. Okay, so we can see it over here. You can see our category name and total revenue. So the category name, we have accessory. You can see the total revenue for accessory category, and you can see the total revenue for bags and total revenue for clothing, and you can see the total revenue, which is about 25 million. Okay, so let's get on to our table view and calculate another measure. So the next question is, for each product category, calculate the total order quantity. Okay, the total order quantity. So we're going to go to new measure. Okay, so we're going to call this total order quantity as TOQ. That is total order quantity is equal to. So we are going to use the sum function again. So the sum function has all the number in a column. So total order quantity, we want to find the total order quantity. So we use the sum function, and we're going to look for the order quantity, which is in the sales table. You can check through and you see order quantity. We want to calculate the total order quantity. So we use that sum function to add it up. Okay, so once you selected the column order quantity, you just hit enter. So you can come over here, you can see our new measure is created, which is called total order quantity. Okay, so let's just get onto our report view, and then we're going to bring the total order quantity to the column field. So what you do is just come here, you see where you have total order quantity here. So you just bring it down here to where you have the column, and you drop it there. Okay, just bring it over here. Okay, so we can see our new measure here, TOQ, which is total order quantity. So we're going to bring it over here. You can see it over the total order quantities for this category name. Okay, so we have solved that problem. So let's get on to the next problem statement. Okay, the total return quantities. Okay, so to do that, we go to where we have create new measure. So we click on create new measure. So we call this column TRQ, total return quantity. So we're going to use the same sum function to sum up the return quantities column. So you can see it has all the number in the column. It has only one argument, column name. So we're going to use the the return quantity column is in the returns table. So we're going to put the return. So once we put the return, you see return quantity over here. So we click on return quantity, and then we close the bracket and hit enter. So if you come over here, we are going to see the new measure that is created over here. You can see it's a TRQ, the new measure that we just created now. Now, what we're going to do now is we're going to put all these new measure in one table, okay? And we'll call that table, we'll call it that table all that. Okay, so to do that, we go to our home page. So once you're in the home page, you go to where you have the enter data, you click it there. We want to create a table where we're going to put all these new measure. Okay, so you can see create table here. And we just call come over here to give it a name. So we call it all that. All that. So you come over here and load that table. So you are going to see a new table created over here. So you can see it's creating a new table called all that. Okay, so it's completed. So let's just get up over here. You're going to see the new table that is created over. You can see over here all that. Okay, so now we are going to put all these new measure that we created over here. So let's just start with this. Okay, so you just click on on those new measures that you just created. You can see over here. So just click on it. When you click on it, you come to where you have the home tables over here. So you just click on the drop down and you check through all that and you put it there. Okay, so let's get on to the next one. Okay, you can see another measure here. So just click on it. You can click on that total orders measure that we created over here. You can come over here and just put it in this order table. You can see we are now left with these two. So we just click on it. We come to where you have orders. We click. Okay, so the last one that we just created, total return quantity. So we just come over here, click on the table. So we have successfully put all the new measures in one table called that. Okay, so come over to where you have the DAX over here. This is the DAX table. So once you click the DAX table, you see the list of our new measure over here. Okay. So the next function we are going to be looking at is the cross filter function. The cross filter function, this is used to change the direction of filtering. It is used for a relationship that already existed between two tables, specify the cross filtering direction. Okay, so we're going to look at the problem here and we'll try to solve it. Okay, and we'll get to understand how to use the cross filter function. So the question is count the number of target customer for each country. So for each country, we want to segregate and find the target customer. Okay, to solve this problem, we have to go to our model view. Okay, so in this example, we have to count the total number of target customer, and the target customer is in the customer table. So, and we want to segregate different target customer for different countries, and the country columns is in the territory table. So you can notice that the territory tables and the customers table do not have direct relationship. Okay, so you can see the territory table over here. You can see the territory table, and let's go to our customer table. You can see the customer table here. It does not have any relationship with our territory table. So to solve this problem, we are going to use the cross filter function to be able to get the correct answer. We're going to use the cross filter function. So let's go to our table view and solve this problem. So we get on to new measure, target customer per country. Target customer per country is equal to, we're going to use a function called calculate, and it said calculate function evaluate an expression in the context modified by filters. Okay, so the first filter function uses a calculate function, which we are going to bring this relationship between these two tables that are not does not have any column that relates to each other. So the first argument based expression, and this expression we're going to use a count function to count. So we're going to use the count function to count the target customer. So they can see the count function has only one argument, which is the column name. So the column name that we're going to use is in the customer table, and then we look for target customer. Okay, see it over here. So we'll click on target customer. Okay, so for the calculate function, the expression was to count the target customer. So that's the first argument. Now then the second argument is the filter. Okay, so in the future, this is where we're going to use the cross filter function to connect these two tables which are not connected together. So we use the function called cross filter. You can see it over here. So the cross filter function specifies cross filtering direction to be used in the evaluation of a DAX expression. So the relationship is defined by naming as argument the two columns that save as endpoints. Okay, so if you come over to where you have a model view here, so we look at where we have the customer table, customer and sales table. You can see the customer and sales table are related by, if you just click on this arrow, you see that the sales and customer table are related by a column called customer keys. Okay, so from here, with cross filter function, we're going to use the customer table. We use the customer key, use comma, sales, the sales table, we have the customer key column. So once you're done, and then, so we are going to use both. Okay, so the cross filter type is going to be both. So we click on both. Okay, so you can see that in your relationship over here. So you can see in the relationship between customer table and sales table here. If you open up, if you to the, if you come up, you click it and then come to where you have property. Okay, so the cross filter direction is single. Okay, so you go back. Let's go back to our table view, and then we are going to choose we're going to use the You are going to use the filter. Okay, so you can see the cross filter type. We're going to use one way, which is single, and then we close the bracket and just click enter. So you can come over here and we see our new measure has been created. You can see target customer per country. Okay, so we just click on it. Just come over here and put it in all that table. Okay, so you can see it over here. All that. So we're going to click on another matrix. Let's click on another matrix, and we'll show the target customer we'll create a column for target customer and the country. So we come over to where we have target customer, and we see per country. So we go to where we have territory. So you see where we have country. So we can expand. Okay, so we can have a view of target customer per country over here. So we can see Australia. So this is the value for target customer per country over here. You can see for Canada, for France, Germany, United Kingdom, and United States. So we're able to solve that problem.